All right. Welcome. This is the Networking Today podcast debut show. And we're kicking it off live here in our very first ever Networking Today podcast studio. Having a great time already. We've had our share of trials so far, but we are so excited to finally get the podcast studio off the ground. And with no further ado, we have decided to move forward aggressively with the show. And Dusty needs to quit playing. Would you please quit playing with your cords?
It keeps pulling my head closer to the...
Oh, my goodness. Well, this is not a whole lot different from the Networking Today radio show that we had, the Word of Mouth radio show, where we also argued and talked about what to say on the mic and what not to say all the time.
I told you what to do.
You told me what to do, pretty much. But anyway, you can't play with your cords, otherwise we're going to hear it all show.
Okay,
or,
then when
I guess you can.
When it starts smacking my stick over here, then you can...
Okay. I guess we can do...
The show's going downhill.
It is.
Just like the radio show.
Just like the radio show. Well, and see, this in the podcast here, fortunately, we don't have commercials. We don't have live, airways to deal with where people are listening to us and, what we say and things of that nature. So it can be a little bit different than...
So you're saying we can edit?
There's no buzzer.
There's no buzzer. Well, there wasn't really a buzzer on the air either, was there?
No, not unless they caught us.
Well, we do want to welcome you to the first ever podcast show, the debut show, if you will. I'm Rich DeForest. I'm going to host the podcast. We're going to have a great time talking about how to develop yourself in networking, but not only networking only. We want to talk about development professionally, and we also want to talk about development personally as well. And today, I am very blessed to have several folks in the studio here with me that have sponsored the show, that have helped make the show possible. And so this debut show is just the first of many. We will be hosting the show on our website, which is networkingtodayintl.com, where we will be taking the video. We will be putting it into not only Facebook on our Facebook page, but we also have it uploaded to YouTube. We will not only do that, we will work on sending it to iTunes, and we will have it inside of the app where the podcast will be picked up and promoted and everything from everywhere across the country, hopefully. So I'm really excited about what we're starting to do here with the podcast. I think where the podcast is going to be different than it was for the radio show, though, is we're not really needing to target it to an audience out there that isn't networking. This show is designed and targeted to networking and growing your business, developing your business, advertising your business, and things of that nature. Totally different than what we did in the radio show. So I'll be hosting the show. Dusty Kuhn will be flying co-pilot most of the time, and I'm excited about that. Good to have us back together on the air.
I know. I missed it.
It actually has been several weeks, months, actually, since we did the radio show.
And Dusty's going off over there as always.
It's not me.
What?
Is somebody vibrating?
Somebody is vibrating.
Anyway, let's do a little roundhouse of introductions here. We've got more people than we have mics and headsets, but we're having a good time with it anyway. So I guess the good Dr. Shayna Sparks from Knoxville Chiropractic Solutions, we're going to start with you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a chiropractor. I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia, and I live here in Knoxville now. I love it. I actually practice out in Powell, and I've been in practice for 13 years this year, which is good. And I'm still a UGA fan, not a UT fan.
Should throw that in there.
You're welcome.
You had to go to school somewhere.
You're welcome.
You had to go to school somewhere, right?
I did. It was good.
That's funny.
But I like it, and I wouldn't do anything any different.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been a chiropractor?
I've been a chiropractor for 13 years, but in Knoxville, 10 of the 13 years.
What made you want to get into chiropractic?
I actually took my mom to a chiropractor. She was hurting really bad. She had bad headaches, and he didn't give her any meds, and he didn't have to do any type of surgery, and she got better, and I thought, this is great. So what is this, and how can I do it? And I thought, well, if this guy can do it, I could definitely do it. And there's the fact that she got better without having to use drugs or surgery or be out of work or not be present as a mom. So I thought that was important.
And what do you think is the difference with chiropractic from all other healthcare? I mean, why chiropractic?
Your body's smart. It can actually heal itself if you give it the opportunity, and you don't have to necessarily take drugs or do surgery. And getting away from taking something that's actually going to mask the pain is good. And so more people are actually looking for a more natural way to take care of themselves. They go to the health food store, they stretch, they exercise, they go get massages, they do essential oils, all kind of stuff, more natural stuff. Chiropractic is one additional way to do something natural for yourself without having to mask the symptoms with drugs.
Not that drugs are bad, right,
I don't
Dusty?
know what to do.
Drugs are bad.
I like my drugs,
Yes, that's too like drugs.
Some drugs
but
are
I
bad.
like my chiropractors too. Shayna can tell you that.
Yeah. So, anyway, so tell us why Knoxville Chiropractic Solutions. Why did you want to get into business for yourself instead of just being a chiropractor somewhere else?
I got tired of lining someone else's pockets.
That's why we're all here.
I got tired of lining someone else's pockets, and I wanted to practice the way I wanted to practice and make a difference my own kind of way. And I'm really the niche market that's really drawn to me is people who are 40 and older, and I love that group of people, men and women.
Us old people,
All of us at this
All
table.
y'all old people.
right?
And, there's a niche market for babies, and there's a niche market for pregnant women and young adults, and that is just, am I not close enough? I'm just, here we go. It's just what I'm good at. It's just what I've done for years, and so I really like it.
Well, and you do it well.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so glad that you sponsored the program. You said to me when you decided to sponsor the podcast that you want to be the chiropractor of networking today. You want to be known as the chiropractor of networking today.
I want to be the Ruth Chris Steakhouse of chiropractic.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere, but you choose to come to me.
So what's your radius? I mean, how far around will people do business with you?
10 miles.
Really?
People will drive from 37932 in Knoxville to see me, but the furthest I've had people actually drive is Tellico Plains, Sunbright, Robbins, Tennessee, which is up past La Follette, and that's pretty far. I like it.
Shayna used to go to a set of people to adjust them too, I know for a fact.
Wow.
She used to go to a set of hairdressers, is that right?
Salon, yes, you go to a salon
Really?
and see them.
I didn't know
Then
that.
I got busy and had to quit going there. And then I went from a small space, a 200 square foot space, to a 2,500 square foot space in a matter of like a year.
Yes.
So
Well, I want to come back and talk about entrepreneurialism with you a little bit. I definitely do, but thank you for being here and thank you for sponsoring the podcast.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it so
I
much.
love it. I'm happy to support it.
Yeah, we love you too. Dusty, tell the world about you, my dear.
Which side?
The normal.
The normal.
side.
I don't have a normal side. I'm proud to say that.
That's true. She's not kidding.
I'm not kidding. Dusty Kuhn, Mortgage Investors Group. That's my job today, anyway.
Right? Soon. No, I'm not going to go there.
Soon to have other aspirations,
Yes.
working on other aspirations. But that's my daytime job anyway, is
Right.
mortgages. That sounds really
On top
bad.
of being a mom,
You did take
and a
off your
wife.
hoops before this podcast. I'm just going to say.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my nighttime job does not include polls, but
Or dancing
or
necessarily,
dancing.
right?
necessarily.
Well, there might be
Dancing
some
on tables
dancing.
and chairs.
There might be
Yeah.
some dancing involved.
Oh, I do, but I am the chair stander at networking today, so I guess
are.
I do like to make a entrance or a scene. Or
I've done that too.
Yeah.
Stand on the chairs.
stand on the chairs. It's a good way to get noticed.
All the insurance guys love you.
I know.
Well, so tell us about Mortgage Investors Group and why in the world do you do mortgages? But before you tell us that, how long you been coming to networking today?
A long time. While you were still at Cozy Joe's, the first meeting I went to was Pal's meeting when it was still at Imagination Forest. So that's a long time ago.
That is a long time.
That's
ago.
that's where I met you.
Yes, and there at the time I started going, there were only 8 or 9 of us at that meeting. So, and it grew to be well over 20 at one point. So, a long time. And the only reason didn't start off at Cozy Joe's because I knew there was competition in the room. There were other mortgage lenders in there, and I didn't want to have to figure out what to do with the other competition. And I soon figured out I just bury them in my backyard. So
Right.
that's where they all are, and there's not many in competition with me
Running out of room,
anymore.
that's why she's got to move.
Yeah.
So when you first started coming to Networking Today, I remember you were, how should we put it?
Quiet, bashful.
Quiet, bashful,
In the corner.
nervous as all get out.
Wouldn't be noticed.
No, I wanted nothing to do with standing up. I don't like being the center of attention or people staring at
What the hell
me.
happened there?
Because that girl
I
is
don't-
gone.
I don't like being put on display.
No.
I guess so. I don't, and so I mean, around my friends and people I know, but when you don't know anybody, it's kind of hard. So another member of Networking Today, which we will name Jim Johnson, told me one day at an event that I was at with you with the Northwest Knox Business and Professional Association. You went to introduce me to him, and he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Jim, we know each other. We're in the same room at that time. We're at Faith Promise." He's like, "Oh, well, you must not be very memorable because I don't know who you are."
Wow.
And he broke and crushed my heart. So the next week I showed up to Networking Today in Faith Promise.
Pink
And
tutu.
no, I did not have a tutu on, but I had my blue jeans on, my cowboy boots, my cowboy buckle,
You
and
had
I
a hat.
had a hat on, and I stood on top of the chair and said, "I've been told that nobody knows who I am, and I'm not memorable enough, so here I am."
Now, I know your first business spotlight that you did, your 20 minutes of fame,
Mm-hmm.
you actually had glasses on because you didn't want anyone to see you, see your eyes or something?
Okay, you guys all know the Adam Sandler movie where he has the little kid and he puts the
Yeah.
glasses on the little kid so nobody can see him. So that was my idea. So the first spotlight speaker.
You can't see me.
No, right?
I'm invisible.
So I did my spotlight speaker sitting down in a chair
Right.
with sunglasses on. I took 2 Xanax. I brought a Panera
But
buffet.
you take 2 Xanax every time you speak.
Except today.
She gets out
You're
of
welcome. That's
Yes.
free. I know that about you.
bed. She gets out of bed and she's like, "There's 2."
Yeah.
Pops
It's like,
to- yeah, she goes.
Okay.
I
just
put a
kidding.
breakfast buffet out there so everybody would be eating and not paying attention to me.
Right.
And did my first presentation that way.
And now you lead the Maryville meeting, don't you?
I do. But the funny thing is I just did my first presentation at Carolina Ale House in 4 years, this past December.
That's incredible.
So-
Incredible. And there's still people, by the way, at the Carolina Ale House who have not presented. And I'm talking to you today. You need to get on the calendar and speak, right, Dusty? It's
Yeah.
not that
Don't.
bad.
We'll
Yeah.
do another one.
Or don't. And I mean, I've led networking today at
lost.
Carolina Ale House before. I lead my own meeting. I've led, several of them. Gone to Nashville and helped kick off some meetings. So it's just a comfort zone. I didn't know what networking was. My husband makes fun of me. He's like, "What do you think I was doing on the golf course all the time?"
Right.
But
That sounded a lot like Jason, actually.
yeah. So I mean, now it's just who I am. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, tell us why mortgages.
I know mortgages really well. I've been doing.
But I mean, you were in real estate down in
I was in real
Florida.
estate in Florida. I started off in mortgages, actually in banking when I was 19 years old. So I've been doing it forever. I don't want to say it's the only thing I know, but I know it really well. So it's safe. And I figured out today in a small group meeting that I had that I like being creative, and
Right.
the part of the
You
mortgages
can name,
that I like.
You can name the small group. That's okay.
Advanced development teams.
What?
ADT, what? Framework. So
Shameless plug.
I know, shameless plug.
But
But
mean-
it works. I mean, I figured out that what I like about mortgages is I like being creative.
Right.
And so the blessings that I get to give are the people who have been told no, and the way I get to create and be inventive on how to make it work for them.
Mm-hmm.
The $1 million loans and the big loans and the perfect customers are great and they pay the bills, but they are not a true reality of what's out there. They're very few and far between. So it allows me to be creative and keep my brain moving and going. And God knows everything in mortgages changes because it's controlled by the federal government. So
Are you going to start drawing ponies and butterflies now, too? Or?
shut up, Todd.
She does have a unicorn that farts glitter.
Alrighty then.
Oh, TMI, man.
And it smells like flowers.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, sure. Well, moving right along. Where a show derails, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are several opportunities for the show to derail, and hopefully we just always bring it back, bring it back
That's
to
so
center.
fun.
No, it is fun. It's a blast keeping it centered. It is really. Right. Todd Olson, the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind. Todd,
How you doing, Todd?
do you know?
Hey, Richard.
Do you know Todd was the very
First
first
meeting to break off.
spin off and have his own Networking Today meeting outside of
If it
Hard
wasn't
Valley.
for me, there would be no you.
I know, but see, I
Oh,
swore, I
What?
swore that Brian Williams' PAL meeting was the first
Oh,
one.
gosh.
No.
I thought you spun off to take some of the people out of
No.
the room out of Faith Promise because it was too damn big.
We weren't at Faith Promise then.
We
were still
weren't?
at Cozy Joe's.
Really?
We were at Cozy Joe's.
Thank you for using the microphone. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
No, we were at Cozy Joe's when I broke off.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. And then I think Brian came shortly thereafter, and then I think Susan down in Maryville was the next one. That
Yeah.
came. And then after that, I don't remember, but we started growing from there.
It was such a long time ago, you know.
It's
I'm
forever
there
ago.
every Wednesday.
That was back in the days when you didn't like MLMs. When you
Don't
told
like
when you
MLMs.
when you told them to get the hell out.
Well, it wasn't quite like that.
No, he
No,
was
I
a
was
little more
diplomatic.
diplomatic than that, right? But you have been coming to Networking Today for a long time, almost 4.5
There
years.
was maybe 20 people in the room when I first started.
Isn't that incredible?
And then all of a sudden they started stacking up in the back, and then they were
Down
lining
the
up down the
stairs.
stairs. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Behind the meat
hey,
case.
maybe there is something for this thing, you know. Then you got that guy sitting in the chair over there, Dano. He was like the king of the big seat.
He was.
Next to the
You
fireplace.
never sat in that chair because that was Dano's chair.
So tell me though, why were you networking before Networking Today?
Yeah, I was in BNI and I was in Rio and visited some of the other ones. And it just came right down to I didn't like exclusivity. I didn't really have a problem with exclusivity, but I didn't like the fact that if I had another meeting, I had to send a surrogate to fill my spot. And if I missed more than two, I was on the double secret probation.
Double
He's on
secret.
a chopping block.
Yeah. And I was going to get a nasty gram from the organization and threaten to be kicked out. And, the fact that they require you to put leads out there or give referrals, require you to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you feel, like you're the second-class citizen. Well, you know what? I'm not going to give Shayna a crappy referral. I'm not going to pull one out of my phone or out of the phone book just because I'm obligated to give her a referral. If it's not sincere, don't do it.
Right.
And that part of it I just didn't like. And the fact that, we didn't have any rules.
You like
I
the fact
kinda
that we
like
didn't have any rules.
Yes.
And now there's lots of
I
them.
can come and go as I want.
But Todd or I, neither one of them abide by any of the rules. So.
No, that's true. Especially
Well,
Todd.
we abide by them, but we just
All these
stretch
unruly
them
people in
sometimes.
this
I know,
room.
right?
I'm so glad we follow the rules, Rich.
Really? Thank you for pointing that out, Shayna.
You're welcome. That was free.
You just don't hang around him enough to know.
That's probably true. The only time I think that we really don't is probably when we're driving down the road.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
for sure.
yes,
Because
the
here's the
both
deal:
of you.
speed limit that's just merely a suggestion.
It is
Oh, yeah.
purely a suggestion.
Absolutely.
And that is clearly obvious by the fact that there are many people that don't obey the laws of the road as it is.
That's true.
There
They
are
don't know we're
signs.
coming. That's the problem.
There are signs that say slower traffic, move right.
That's right.
I'd like
There's
to-
also
Confused.
signs that say don't text and drive or Facebook and drive, Rich.
So Todd, you've been at Networking Today for 4.5 years, and you lead our West Knox meeting,
Yes.
what I affectionately refer to as Bearden.
Mooyah.
But it's not Bearden. It's Mooyah Burgers. Fries
I think of
and
them as the
shake.
cow meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Mooyah, cow.
I just think of us as the shake meeting because the cow meeting is just kind of weird.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but West
great
Knox,
location.
yeah,
Something wrong.
just past, just by West Town Mall.
and it's hard to believe that you've been leading your own meeting for 4 years.
Yeah, I haven't even kicked myself out yet.
Is that incredible?
Scary.
There's been a
Think
couple of
about it
times,
every day,
right?
though.
Think about it every day.
So at least
Oh
every
my
Wednesday,
gosh.
Every Wednesday.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us what you do. What do you do professionally?
Yeah, what do you do?
You know, I keep telling my wife I'm retired, but she
I've
doesn't
met
believe
her.
it.
She doesn't believe you.
No, she doesn't. So I for the last 12 years, I've been in a trade exchange. I was the owner of the trade exchange, the iTex Trade Exchange here in Knoxville. And, you know, as trade, when the economy's in the toilet, trade does great. But the economy's getting better, and the numbers were sliding a little bit. I mean, not dramatically. We weren't going to go out of business tomorrow, but, you know, when you have 20 and 30% drops in revenue, and you don't see that changing because as the economy gets better, people can't trade as much. They don't have the inventory. They don't have the capacity. If they're 100% booked, well, there is no room to trade. They don't need to trade. So back in middle of the year last year, I started looking at other ways of making money, and I met this guy sitting next to me at Networking Today. Imagine that. And he invited me to a meeting about a year earlier, and I wasn't smart enough to jump on it. I sat on it. I was like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because I'd be so much further ahead right now. But bottom line is I was looking for that option, and then I had an opportunity to sell iTex in the end of October, early November, and I jumped. Sold the business, and Max and I have been working 100% on ACN, is the company we're with, and we've been doing that ever since. And I'm starting to see some good success. We're getting great momentum. We got some great people. Rich, you're one of the great people
I am one of the
that have seen the vision, and we're growing.
He saw the lower bills.
Yeah.
I saw the lower bills. So tell people what ACN does. Go into detail just briefly about that, and then we'll come back and talk more about your kind of entrepreneurialism from there.
Well, you know what? Max is a great one to ask that question to as well, because he is.
Yeah, we'll get
The
we'll
ACN
get to Max.
We want to see if you really know what you're doing, Todd.
Well, basically,
No, just in your words,
what we basically do is we are selling essential services that you pay for every day. And we're the customer acquisition arm of these big companies. And we have companies like Vivint, Home Security, top rated, JD Power's top rated. We have Sprint, we have Verizon, we have Dish and DirecTV, we have Innovia credit card processing, we have energy in 19 states. So the cool thing about this is every time somebody pays their bill, I make a little residual. Every time somebody pays their bill, a hungry child somewhere in America gets fed. That's our philanthropic focus. And you can't beat that.
Absolutely.
And we are also a huge supporter of Ronald McDonald House. So our last convention in Charlotte, and I was at the one in Phoenix and the one in Detroit, each one of those we donated money to Ronald McDonald House. This last one, I think it was over $45,000 that was donated to Ronald McDonald House from the people in the room. And there was probably 18 to 20,000 of us at this convention. And that's just huge. I mean, not too many companies actually can say they do that.
That's pretty fantastic. Well, I want to come back and talk to each one of us and kind of talk to you guys about entrepreneurism and that sort of thing. But let's squeeze Max in. And Max Sherrill and I have been friends for quite a while. And Max Sherrill is with ACN. Max, how long have you been coming to Networking Today, my man?
Almost 4 years. It's been a little over 3.5 years that I've been coming to Networking Today. I started when we got to when we were at Faith Promise.
He sat over in the far right corner at the table. I
You
know
remember,
exactly
huh?
where he sat.
Did you sit over in the far right corner?
That was my seat every week. I went over that
Yeah.
round the table closest to the.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Well, and I
Yeah.
would sit there too because I always wanted to be last. Because you always started to the right.
Just so you know, you don't have a microphone, so he can't quite hear you
I
the
can hear
same.
myself.
Yeah, okay.
He's loud anyway.
But,
He doesn't
yes.
need a microphone.
Right. But okay, Max. So you've been coming for quite a while since we were at Faith Promise. That was at least 3.5, 4 years ago
Yeah, absolutely.
that we were there. And why Networking Today for you? I mean, when you came for the first time, or maybe I don't know, do you remember how you even heard about Networking Today?
I really don't. I think I was looking for a networking group, and somehow or another I got the information. But I didn't show up with anybody because I had nobody to lead me in. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what to expect when I got there. So I kind of wandered in. Somebody helped me, find a seat. And the rest is history. But I'd seen other networking groups and other networking facilities. And like Todd was saying, there was just too many rules and things. Sometimes I'm busy and I can't make the meetings. And I really don't have anybody that I could send in my place to be a surrogate to sit in. And it was just too exclusive. I couldn't handle that. And what I liked about networking today was just the freedom to be there. And if you don't show up and you're not there to network, you're the one missing out. You've got to be there to create the relationships. And what I saw was it's all through my business when I was in construction, real estate, and everything. It was always more about the relationship than it was the money. It was never about the money, because if you build the relationships and build them right, you don't have to worry about the money. The money will be there.
I think it's fascinating that you don't remember. I mean, some time has passed, and I understand that. But I think it's interesting that we don't remember. Many people don't remember how they heard about networking today. They just remember starting to show up. They remember where they were when they first started to come, like Cozy Joe's or Faith Promise.
I know
or
how I ended up there.
Imagination Forest or whatever.
I know how I got there.
How did you get there?
In a car. No, just joking. But Bill Halsey invited me.
You asked her. She told you.
It is sort of my fault.
I actually know. I was already a member of the Northwest Knox Business and Professional Association, and Bill Halsey told me that I should come to this little networking meeting in Powell. There weren't a lot of people, and I'd be okay.
Back in the day. So
I actually sat in my car and waited for him to get there before I'd get out.
We taking a break?
We're not. But that is some good jams.
For the cause.
Usually that's Roz telling us to get off the radio.
Here we go into a. Yeah, that's hilarious. Anyway, but okay, so say that again. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
Bill Halsey. I knew him from the Northwest Knox Business and Professional Association, and he told me that you need to come to this little networking
Where did
group
you and Bill meet, though?
at the Northwest Knox Business and Professional Association.
Okay, so you guys were there networking with each other?
Yes, we were both members.
Okay, I got you.
You got
And
it.
so then, now how did you hear about the Northwest
Knox
Business Association?
Because I lived in Carnes, and when I started mortgages and working as a loan officer, I figured the best place was to start at home where I live.
Right.
So I looked up organizations in Carnes, and Northwest Knox
That's how you found
Business
it. So
was a
you
Carnes.
Googled it, which led you to there, which led you to an introduction with Bill, which led you to an introduction coming to networking.
Yep.
But you don't remember, Max. You don't remember who told you.
I'm 65 years old. I don't remember.
I remember where he sat. I just asked me, I can tell you.
But he was there
Like a
every
good
week
neighbor,
in that
I'm
corner,
there.
right? Like a good neighbor. Yeah, thank you.
I was faithful. It's Faith Promise. I was faithful.
You were faithful. And then Wendy started coming
Yeah, she did.
shortly after
And
that.
then Wendy left.
Not far.
Now, yeah. Now you,
Not you, just the building.
right? She didn't leave you. That's good. Now tell us. Okay, so Todd said that you are the ACN whisperer. You're the ACN expert, and I know you've been with ACN for several
7.5 years.
Seven and a half years. Why ACN for you? What's your passion behind ACN?
Well, it's hard to say, but I was in construction and real estate pretty much all of my life, and made a lot of money along the way. And back in 2008 and 2009, I saw everything melt in front of my eyes. It's not that I thought I did anything wrong, financial decisions, but I was heavy in real estate and depended entirely on construction and real estate sales for my household income, and it went to zero. I had a little money saved up, and I thought I would sit it out, and wait on the economy to come back. I figured, maybe 18 months, 2 years, and it'd be back, and I would be sitting in a position to take advantage of it. Well, it didn't come back, and so I started looking around. I had 2 girls about to graduate high school and start college, and that was scary for me because all this time I'd been able to provide very well for them, and at this time I didn't have any money to send them to college, and so I started looking around. Had a friend invite me to come look at what he had joined, and I drove 3.5 hours to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I took a look at it, and when I saw it, it just made sense. You can, I could see realtors and people in my county that were going in through foreclosures and short sales and things like that, and what I could remember was they paid their phone bill, they paid their light bill, they paid their internet bill because that's how they search for jobs and opportunities and things. So it was a lifeline, and I thought to get paid residually on that, it just makes too much sense. And so I got started, found out there was very little saturation in Tennessee at all, and here we are today, 7.5 years later, with businesses around the world from it.
Well, and you talk a lot about freedom, which is one of my favorite words.
Yes.
And I know, other people talk about freedom as well, but one of the things that ACN is doing for people is it's providing them that freedom to live the life that they want to live, right? And the way that you get freedom is to have income. You have to have a source of income coming from somewhere.
Correct. Warren Buffett says if you don't have something to provide you income while you sleep, you'll work till you die. So with that said, residual income, I'd always look for a passive income. We called it back in the 30 years ago, called it mailbox money, and just never could seem to put my finger on what it was that could do that for me. There's always drawbacks with a lot of things, and there's drawbacks with this too, but they're easier to overcome. So I just got started, told a few people about it, and was consistent with what I was doing. Along with the setbacks and stuff, we've had a lot of success, and the success far outweigh any setbacks that we've had along the way.
So, Max, okay, let's talk a little bit more about this whole idea of passive income, if you don't mind. I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah, all right over there?
I'm good.
Very nice. I want to talk a little bit about with all of you about entrepreneurialism, because we're all working to build a business. I mean, each and every one of us sitting at this table are working to build a business. And I sometimes sit and I wonder, like, what's the difference in the heartbeat of the person, that is working to build a business versus the person that just gets up and goes to a job? And sometimes I question my own sanity in the whole entrepreneurial thing. But when you talk about passive income, I was thinking about that the other day, and there are people that can't wait. You know what I'm saying, Shayna?
Mm-hmm.
When you're 10, you can't wait to be a teenager, and then once you're a teenager, you can't wait to be
an adult.
16.
Yeah.
When you're an adult,
so
you
you
want to
can
be
drive,
a kid again.
and then you want to be 18 so that you can graduate high school and be an adult, and then you can't wait until you're 21 so you can drink, and then you can't wait until you're there's
retired.
always
And
this,
then when you're retired, you want to be a kid again.
and then once you're like 30 and working,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I can't wait to retire. And you're like 65 years. And people work until they're 60, 65,
Even 70 now.
70 years of age. And why do they wait until they're 60 or 70? Do you know the answer to that question?
It's procrastination.
Well, it's procrastination, but they have to acquire enough income to do what? In order to retire. So you have to acquire the ability for an income stream. You see what I'm trying to say here?
Mm-hmm.
You follow what my train of
Yeah.
thought? My train of why?
Do we have?
I
I don't have the ability to hear the music.
wiggles, it goes off.
why is the we keep playing the music? I don't know. Maybe it just wants to play. I don't know. But
It's telling you to shut up.
Tell me to take a breath or take a break.
But getting back to it though, a passive income, that's what people work in their 401k so that their money can then start paying them for the rest of their lives.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The residual income, you think about an actor that learns a script and they recite it. Think about Gilligan's Island, for example. None of those guys are living today, but their heirs
Are making
getting
money.
a residual, a passive income every time they air one of those shows on Family Channel or whatever, Family Network. So with this, you do something one time and you get paid over and over, month after month, year after year, as long as they remain a customer.
But what we call passive income, just like you were saying about Gilligan's Island, I mean, passive meaning you are not exchanging your time for money.
Yeah, that's linear income. When you exchange your time for income, just like when I built a house back when I was doing construction, when I got through with a house, I was basically unemployed till I got another one to build because they didn't pay me on and on.
Right.
But with this, I see the opportunity to do something one time, help other people do the same thing, and get paid passively or leveraged, if you will, over the efforts of others because I've helped them, get out of that day-to-day grind. And with this, you get to choose your own hours. You don't have to stick a key in a door at a certain time every day for customers. You can do it from your cell phone, your computer, from your bedroom, wherever you want to do it, and at your own pace.
And what are we doing?
I don't know, Dusty looked at me. I was like,
Todd and I know we went to the same spot, so it's okay. We just laughed. We have telekinesis
Right, I got
over
you.
here.
All right, you guys are. You can't. Yeah,
Children.
Bless your heart. You don't know what you're doing.
yeah.
We're trying to carry on a business conversation here, children.
Children.
Now we don't have a lot of time, but ACN is helping people do that, and every single time people pay for their bills, it's paying somebody.
Right. Well, think about this. I mean, this puts it all in perspective. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway just got here about a year and a half ago, maybe not hardly that long ago, got out of all their commercial real estate storefront stuff, and they made a very bold statement about how glad they were to be away from it because of the Amazon effect. Everything is going from brick and mortar to click and order. And, you know, everybody knows in real estate, the three most important things to remember in real estate, Dusty, is what?
Location.
Location.
Okay, well, today that has changed. The most important location is the 15 square inches of glass right here. 70% of all transactions start or finish right there on that. And to have your business up and the ability to do business and transactions from your cell phone is what the location is right now. And so what we do, we have an online presence that you can operate from your cell phone or your computer, laptop, tablet around the world. We're in 25 countries now on 4 continents and expanding even farther this year.
Well, Max, we appreciate you sponsoring the podcast and helping to make it a reality. Let me ask you, if people want to find out about ACN, they want to find out what about generating a passive income for themselves, where should they go? Should they call you? Should they go to your website?
Just call me. I would like, explain things to them a little bit and just, kind of feel them out and figure out what they're looking for in life and see if this would be a fit for them. Because, not everybody can do this. Not everybody's willing to give up, what it takes to get it launched and going. But for the ones that do, it is very beneficial.
Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Always have been. I mean, I sold shoes, and when I was in the 4th grade in school, I had a catalog, and I'd go around to my dad's friends and honestly sell shoes for a company called Stuart McGuire. And everybody thought that was kind of funny that a 4th grader was out here selling, expensive shoes to some of my dad's clientele.
And so, is this ACN? Is it an entrepreneurial venture for you?
Oh, very much so. I just see so much. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen as far as scope and the ability to reach people, help people. It's a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached to it. You kind of grow into this. It doesn't happen overnight. You didn't wake up this morning being a network marketing professional. You have to grow into that position.
How do they reach you?
Sir?
How do they reach you?
It's 865-548-4421 between the hours of 8 o'clock and 10:30. My phone conveniently shuts off at 10:30. It does not ring after 10:30 at night.
So that's 8 o'clock a.m.
8 o'clock, yeah, not just 8 o'clock at night, but, I can be reached.
Yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you so much at Networking Today. You're a great giver, and we just appreciate all that you do.
Well, I appreciate networking today because without that, I don't think that we'd have been able to do the things that we've done. And it's definitely through networking and finding the people with like minds. And, you were saying this morning at the meeting that birds of a feather do flock together. And those with that mindset seem together. So here we are. And thank you for what you do, and thank you for your vision here.
Well, we appreciate you, buddy. Shayna, I want to come over to you because I want to talk to you about entrepreneurship, and I want to talk to you about why, again, doing your own thing. You're in a little different situation than Max in that you are the talent at your place of business. What ultimately do you want to build at Knoxville Chiropractic Solutions? What's it ultimately look like to you?
The vision for it is to just reach as many people as possible. I mean, everyone with a spine obviously is someone that I can help, but on a bigger scale, I've always known that I've been meant for something bigger. So I want to build being the best chiropractor, but such a family atmosphere that people want to come in, even if they just want to come in. If you're getting worked on, your wife wants to come in and just sit there, that it's peaceful enough that she's just there for the peace or the community that's there. Because I just want people to feel welcome and loved when they come in, and then ultimately feel better. So I don't necessarily have to work on you for you to feel better, but you can always enter into an atmosphere where you feel mentally healed or physically healed, whichever. So I really just want to build that, but I actually want to grow it to not just where I currently am, but to all over Knoxville.
Were people critical of you when you first started your own business? They say, why do your own business? Why not, like a parent or something like that? I mean,
Oh yeah, I failed many times. I wouldn't have learned anything if I didn't fail. I got turned down from 7 bank loans, and my family wouldn't give
that's
me money.
it? I'm like 7?
Well,
What?
listen, after applying 7 times, I was just like, forget about it.
Right.
But my family didn't give me money to open my business, and my mother-in-law wouldn't give me any money. My parents didn't understand, and
Do you mind me asking? I know
Yeah,
I'm
no, I don't
interrupting
care.
you, but do you mind me asking how much money approximately did you need to start your business?
from
You
what
can
from
give me a
what I
range.
figured, it was about this might be on the low end, like $125,000 to start. And do you want to know what I actually started with?
I do.
I only started with $3,000
Bam. $3,000.
In one room.
in a 200.
In one
I
room.
started with $3,000 in a 200 square foot room. Before I had moved back to Knoxville for my husband to get out of the military, I had bought 3 chiropractic tables. When I moved into the small office that I was at, I had 2 chiropractic tables, a bookcase, and a therapy, and a computer. And I would hook one person up on therapy, adjust the other person, switch the therapy, and adjust, and then people would pay me and they'd leave. And so it was flowing, it was good. People waited, but it was great.
Yeah.
And now, now I have it so structured that when you come in, it is just me and you for your first day when I talk about everything, so I can learn everything about you. There's no one out there waiting to be adjusted, and then and when you come in to be adjusted, now it's like a community. You're there when people have been
Yeah,
adjusted. There have been
totally.
2 or 3 people there
Yeah.
that you've known when you've come in. So
And so for you, wanting to build your own thing, is that just because you don't make a good employee, or is that because
possibly, yeah.
Shayna taking.
I do what I want.
Yeah. Her
is that what
taking
it
orders.
is? You don't take orders well? Is that what it is?
No,
And she's got a very
I'm
specific
bossy.
vision too.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm gonna do my own thing. I know. I'm just a bad employee, I'm sure.
How come others, in your opinion, how come others don't have the same idea of building their own thing?
They think they're afraid of failure, or it's too hard, or I don't want the. Oh, sorry. I don't want the all the business is just too much. You know, it can become overwhelming to think about how to figure it out, or I don't have the money. Hell, I didn't have the money. It wasn't going to stop me.
Right.
I wanted to do it. So for me, it was all go, no stop, no holds bar. I didn't care what it looked like, square peg, round hole, I'm going. All in
So
or
here's-
nothing. I
here's-
put all my eggs in one basket. If they cracked, that was fine.
So here's what I want to ask you. Speak to the person listening to this podcast today, 10 years from now, 5 years from now. They found this podcast, they're listening to it, they're thinking about starting their business. What do you say to them? What advice do you give to the entrepreneur?
Make sure before you start it's something that you absolutely love. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to want to go every day. So if it's your calling, if Jesus has told you to do it, like I know that's what I'm meant for. So I know I'm absolutely meant to be a chiropractor. I'm meant to work on people. So without a question of a doubt, I know that that's it. But past that thought, just do it. But if you don't wake up every day thinking about it, you don't love it, you're not passionate about it, you don't see anything past that, then don't do it. Because everybody can go open a coffee shop. There's a bunch, but if you don't love coffee,
Yeah.
I mean, why
I'm
would
gonna
you, why
open
would,
a hot
why would you
chocolate
open,
shop.
yeah, why would you do it? You know what I'm saying?
It's a good idea.
I know.
And not everybody can do what you do. And you can be everything to everybody, but if you don't choose one thing and be good at it, then you're nothing to no one.
Wow.
So
That's pretty good
why
advice.
I'm a chiropractor, is because that's the one thing I'm good at. I love a lot of things. I like a lot of people, and I can connect a lot of people. And I'm like, you know what, this might be good for you. I don't have a clue about it, but I think it would work for you.
Yeah.
But that's not me. I can't sell everything. I can just sell what I'm good at.
So, and as we kind of begin to wrap up the show today, what would be some of the final things that you'd want to put out there for Knoxville Chiropractic Solutions? You want to tell them how to reach you if you got your website, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to share about Knoxville Chiropractic Solutions?
Well, we're located in North Knoxville, in Powell, just over the hill past the Walmart, across from Travis Meat Company. So if you get lost, just give us a call. Our number is 865, it's super easy, 333-0999.
That is pretty easy. I didn't get an easy number like that.
Yeah, it's 865-333-0999. You can find us on the web at knoxvillespine.com. We're on Facebook, we're on all social media. But if you've been in a car accident, I can definitely help you navigate through that. When people have been in a car accident, you can be super vulnerable. A lot of people don't know what to do. We can actually help you with that. But the biggest thing is if you have neck pain or headaches or migraines or low back pain, or you wake up and this one thing just came on and you're hurting, we can help you with that too. And if I can't help you, I'll get close to the mic, sorry. If I can help you, I will. If I can't, I'll find someone who can. I heard myself echoing. It doesn't work well.
But you can help so many people. You've helped me personally. I know when I sprained my ankle, you know how scared I was to come to you.
Were you scared or were you terrified?
I don't know if in my mind
He's a
there's
big
difference.
weenie at heart.
He
know.
is a weenie.
Yes.
He's a little dramatic.
He is
Yes.
drama queen.
And then she grabbed my ankle. I said, no. And
And
she
she
said,
was,
yes.
Yeah. I was
Pulled it.
talking to him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I pulled his toes. I don't like when people touch my feet.
Yeah.
Why'd you hurt your
Toes.
ankle?
Toes.
You should see
specifically.
her try to adjust Jason. She like does a sumo wrestler move on
like-
top of
Your
kicks
husband's
the
like
wall.
wrestling a bear. There's no walls anymore.
But
in
I
my
will
place.
say, after she pulled on my ankle, she said, okay, get up and walk. And I was like, oh, look at that. I can walk.
He is
It's
healed.
amazing.
I told her, I said, when you start walking on water, I won't be surprised.
Uh-huh.
No, there's only one that can do that, and it's
Yeah,
not me. Thank
that's
goodness.
right. Yeah,
That's a lot of
seriously.
responsibility.
I don't have time for that.
Let's give your number out one more time. And you have a nice looking website, don't you? You're a Facebook presence anyway.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I hope everyone
so
else likes
let's
it, but
send
if not,
everybody
it's
to
okay.
it.
Yes. So so our phone number again is super easy. It's 865-333-0999. And if you happen to be on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Spinebender Knoxville.
You know, I think a lot of people get confused about the whole / and backslash. I really do.
/ just slash and then
Put a slash.
the thing.
We're going to have a whole show one day. We're
On
just going to talk about the
slashes.
slash.
What is it? Is it backslash? / does it lean forward? Does it lean back? I don't have a
It's
clue.
the slash on
Just
the question
pick a
mark.
slash and then it's
Forward, it's leaning forward.
Pick one and
What's
make it there,
forward?
may
Is it
not
left
get
or is
there.
it right?
Forward, it's tilting right.
Okay. So
Backslash is tilting
a
left.
well, then it's
Republican
/ Spinebender Knoxville.
The Republican
It leans
slash?
to the right.
It leads to the right.
So
We knew
that
the
means it's a
politics
right
would get in here
slash.
some kind of way.
And
did.
you might notice it's sitting on the question mark.
So even
you know,
that's cool. Even the
so-
computer doesn't really have a clue.
Just do shift question mark spin binder. Spine binder.
spine
Spin
binder.
spine binder.
Jesus help me. Spine bender.
Bender.
Spine
Just
bender.
type in Knoxville Chiropractic
Chiropractic
Solutions
Solutions.
on Facebook.
And look for
And
the
you'll
giant
find it.
spines on the windows. They're blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love coming to you, and I thank you for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you being on the debut show, and I can't wait to get you back. We're going to talk a
I'm
lot
coming
more.
back. You can't keep me
Oh
away
yeah,
now.
oh yeah. We're gonna have you back right away because I want to talk more about networking. I want to talk about entrepreneurialism and advice that you have for young entrepreneurs just getting started. And so I can't wait to have you back.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So glad to have you. So Todd, I want to come back to you for just a few minutes, and we're getting close to wrapping up here, but as far as you and entrepreneurialism, what advice would you have for somebody getting out there? Because you have worked for yourself for
Ever?
years. I mean, you worked for the radio show.
Since 1996.
So since 96, you've been a entrepreneur.
I've been independent, yeah.
What made you want to go out and do something on your own?
You know, I worked in the broadcast industry, and we got sold. The company I was with got sold. I went away, had my own ad agency for a year. That company called me back, wanted me to run their radio stations. I went back. 4 years later, they sold me again. I overperformed. I did too good a job. It's like, well, if I can make those guys money, what the heck am I doing? So I rolled over one night. My wife's going to kill me for this, but she was pregnant. I rolled over and said, "What do you think about moving to Knoxville?" She's like, "I like Knoxville, but why?" And we had just started a little coupon magazine, and we were doing well with it. We were making money. I said, "You know what? I don't want to raise my kids in Florida. And the company that we were printing our magazine with is moving to Bonita Springs. They want the territory, so we're not going to be able to keep it." So I said, "I want to drive to Knoxville. I want to spend the weekend there. I want to scope it out. I want to see." And I graduated from the University of Tennessee. And I'd been all over the country, but I ended up in Fort Myers and Naples, Florida. So I drove up here. I still had friends. I scoped it out. I went back. I said, "Sweetie, we're going to do this." And she's like, "Okay." So I made the 806-mile commute. I didn't have any money. I mean, I was making money from the magazine.
Shayna, that sounds like a common theme among
No.
many of us.
Yeah, I probably had a couple $1,000s in the bank, and that was it. And I was driving back and forth. I was sleeping on a friend's couch. Drove up here. I'd work the weekend, work the week. I'd drive home for the weekend. I'd drive back up for 3 weeks. Drove home for a long weekend. But in 6 to 8 weeks, I got enough going that I was comfortable that we were going to have a successful magazine. The first one was profitable. I came home in, must have been June or July, and said, "We're moving to Knoxville." Kaylee was born in August, and we moved November 9th, I think it was. And the rest is history. We've been here ever since. I started the magazine here. It was hugely successful. Sold it. Everything I've done, I built it up, sold it, built it up, sold it, built it up, sold it. And I love the thrill of the chase. And what I'm doing now, the difference between what I'm doing now and what I was doing then is I had to go out and make a sale every day. If I didn't go out and work hard, if I didn't go out and make a sale every day, no one was going to pay me. No one was going to, put the money in the bank to buy groceries, or in that case, diapers. And now I got 2 kids in college, and I'm in 100% ACN because I'm making money with it. It's proving to be successful, and I love it.
Well, and I want you and Max both to come back and talk a little bit more about ACN, because ACN is giving people also without a lot of money who have an entrepreneurial vision. They want to do something for themselves, build something for their families. ACN is giving people that opportunity to do that. And so with that in mind, I hope that you and Max will definitely come back and we get the chance to talk more about that.
Oh, so we're not going to do that now? I was just pulling the mic so we can do that now.
No, I want you. We're wrapping the show up. See you later, Dr. Shayna. Thank you for coming to the show. Appreciate you so much. That's another thing. See, we couldn't do on the radio show. We couldn't just hey, okay, see ya, bye, hon. Okay,
She's got patience to go help.
I wanted to have our first debut show last about an hour, and I'd love to get you and Max in here specifically and talk more about ACN, and maybe we could even bring Mr. Crowder in as well. We can bring him on the line. We can talk a little bit with Mr. Crowder and really talk about how ACN has changed your guys' lives, all of our lives, and really take it to another level. I'd like to do that if you guys
That'd be
would.
awesome. I'm sure Max would be able to arrange that with Mr. Crowder, and be happy to do that.
I think that'd be great. So if people want to find you, Todd, how do they reach you, my man?
Well, there's 2 ways. You can go to toddolson.acndirect.com, and you can look right on my site. That's you can look at all the products and services we offer. You can reach me directly at 865-973-8278.
We might mention to them that Olson is spelled O-L-S-O-N.
Yes, it's the Swede, not the Norwegians. Norwegians are the other side of the fjord, so they're E-N. But yes, it's Todd Olson, O-L-S-O-N, at acndirect.com.
At acndirect.com.
And they can also email me at TN, like Todd Nancy, abbreviation for Tennessee, Todd at gmail.com. So TNTODD at gmail.com.
TN Todd.
TN Todd. That's it.
So, Dusty, I hope
Yes.
that me and you get the opportunity to do just the show together, because we did that on the radio a couple of times, but we never really got a chance to get into everything that we really wanted to get into.
They kept cutting us off.
Yeah, they kept cutting us off, and we would, have to close the show and whatever. But, man, I'll tell you, you and what Jason are about to build, I think, is pretty amazing, and I can't wait to get into that and talk a little bit about that. But you know what? If you're willing on the show, I also think that we ought to talk about the fear that comes along with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of anxiety about stepping out.
Yes.
Right?
I have huge fear issues. So,
But I don't think it's just you. I don't. Do you guys think? I mean, I think entrepreneurs who are taking a risk, people who are coming out here taking a risk. I mean, look. This.
it's like a timer. It just keeps going.
That was a call, actually. I got my ringer off. I'm like, how did this thing
It
even
seemed
going?
like there was a thing, put your phone
You're
on
not
manner
micro.
mode.
You don't have a microphone. We have an extra
Put your phone on
microphone. Somebody come over
manner
here.
mode.
Max, come on over here, would you please, man? Come on over, join us over here, and we'll get you mic'd up here. We don't have a lot more time, okay? Just so you know, we're running against the clock here a little bit of what I want to accomplish today. But when you're coming out and you're trying to start a business, fear stops a lot of people. And I think one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we do, if you want to slip the headset on, be my guest. You don't have to, but you can if you wish.
If you'd like to hear us.
But I think that fear stops a lot of people from getting out there and taking a chance. You know what I mean, guys? I mean, let's just be honest. This show is designed to talk to people about networking, sure, and how to network and be a better networker, but also professionally and developing professionally and coming out here and starting something new.
Well, I think
It's not easy.
no, and I think fear, especially now, for those of us who are in business right now who lived through the 07, 08, 09 issues, it's very easy to get stuck in seeing all the bad stuff that happened then and be terrified of those repeating it and forgetting about the good things that took place during that time. So for me, that was a little bit of it. And two, we are a different generation than our parents, which is something I've come up against, that our parents were, you go to work every day, whether it was at the factory or the job or, Ma Bell or wherever it was, you went to work every day for 30 years, you got your pension, you came home, you mowed the lawn, you did that, but you didn't have your freedom. So there's a lot of fear of disappointing family members or not getting support from family members or your parents. And, that's a real fear. It was a real fear of mine. And of course, for the last 2 years, I've kind of put my husband in a hole with it and kill a little bit of his soul every day with it, but something you got to overcome eventually.
But
and
fear
eventually,
is good.
it's good. It tells you that there's something better on the other side. You just have to eventually let loose of it and make decisions not out of fear and let the fear go away.
But the fear of loss is a powerful thing.
It's a huge
If you
thing.
think about, if I don't go out and work hard every day, if you're building your own business,
Yeah.
you're not going to get paid. You're not going to feed your family. The fear that you will fail is a driving force for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it right there. You just got to get out and do it.
Yeah, for us, it was just we'd become comfortable again, and the fear of becoming uncomfortable is terrifying. And I've been through several things in my life that literally took everything from me, not just in business as an adult, but as a child. And so I don't like change. I hate change.
Well, and even though you do work for a mortgage company, so you're not like actually like the entrepreneur out there where you started and everything else like that. I'm not saying that, but you have to take a risk, because if you don't go out and kill it, you ain't eating.
I don't eat. No,
If you don't find people to do mortgages for you,
No,
starve.
I mean, even though I don't own the company and I don't have an S corp or an LLC, or I'm not a real estate agent who's 1099, I'm a W-2 employee. I'm 100% commission. If I don't close a loan, I don't make any money.
And let's face it, okay, every single one of us, we network so that we can make relationships and we can come out here and work to survive. Like, that's what the power of networking is. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to cost $1,000 a year to get out here and network. Dusty, how much of your business comes from networking?
90% of it.
That's a lot.
It's the reason MIG hired me. Is because when I went to interview with them, after trying to interview with them, I'd interviewed with the local office manager 3 times. She took my processor. And I was, no. And all I could see was money. Well, I'm making more where I'm at. I don't have a corporate structure. I can do and come and go as I please. And she finally asked me if I would go interview with the owner of MIG. And I'm like, you want me to talk to the owner? Okay. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go. They're not going to hire me. And I'll go and, make a good effort and talk. And he asked me, he says, why won't you come work for me? He says, these numbers are correct. This is 100% from going to a networking group. I said, yes. I said, I have no friends or family here. I moved here at that time, 3-4 years ago. I said, and no friends, no family. Got up and moved my family. I said, so that's all I knew to do. And he says, well, we need you. And he goes, why wouldn't you come work for me? And I said, well, honestly, you want the honest opinion? I'm very blunt. All of you know. I hadn't met a loan officer that I liked. And I told him that. And he was kind of blown away by it. And he said, well, maybe that's why we need you. And I was like, okay, slap me in the face. Okay, gotcha. And he says, well, what it'll take. So I just threw out some random number. Like, there's no way he's going to take it. And he freaking took it. It made me shake his hand. I'm like, now we're doing handshake deals. I'm like,
Right.
great. So it was the fear of change and the fear of something else. But, I have built my business structure differently than most mortgage lenders do theirs. They are all about the realtor and all about as many realtors as they can talk to and take to lunch and get. But for me, being a former realtor in my life, to me, that's putting all your eggs in one basket. I'd rather have a slower, steady increase and get their first home, their second home, their kids' home, the college condo, their retirement home, their lake house, than get a bunch of realtors who, the minute you piss them off or the minute something goes wrong that I have no control over, drop you like a.
So before we wrap up, I want to wrap up and ask Max just a couple of questions. If people need a mortgage, they want to talk to you about networking, they want to talk to you about Maryville, they want to talk to you about not just Maryville, but the Maryville meeting specifically.
Yes.
But they want to get in touch with you. How do they reach you?
You can call me on my cell phone. It's area code 850-978-1284. That's 850. It's a Florida area code. I've had it for 20-some odd
Maybe someday
years.
she'll settle in here.
I know. I just had it forever. So they can call me. I can do loans. Yeah, I can do loans anywhere in the state of Tennessee. So if you're watching in Nashville, I can help you. And I've done plenty of loans over there before. So, or you go to my website, which is dustykuhn.com, dustykuhn.com.
Well, you and I will be hosting the podcast most days together. Some days I'm going to be out. Some days you're going to be out. But most of the time we'll be hosting it together. We
Somebody's
got
ringing.
We got to encourage everybody to turn their phones off, including
Mine
me.
is-
Apparently, my satanic phone just keeps on like launching, jive it up or whatever it is. We'll figure it out in time. But I've really enjoyed having you on the show, Max. I want to talk to you just real briefly. What would you say to the person who's starting a business, coming out here, trying to start a business, the fear of starting that business? What would you say to them? Because you've got a lot of experience in business.
Well, if it doesn't scare you, you're not digging deep enough, because everything you want in life is just outside of your comfort zone. You can't sit around and wait for it to come fall in your lap. You have to get out, go break some eggs to make an omelet, so to speak. But the big thing about fear is not the fear of change. Sometimes it's looking in the mirror and the fear of being the same in 5 years, being in the same position, 5 years older, not making anything to get out of the, if you're kind of miserable in the situation you're in, that fear of staying the same should just, terrify people. So do I want to be doing the same thing or making the same money 5 years from now? No, I'm looking for something, because, I'm one of those that feel like I was put here to do something greater, something better, that I have more ability that I'm not using, and I want to extend that as far as I can.
Well, you're a blessing to networking today, and I appreciate you so much. And thank you for sponsoring the show and helping to make the podcast happen. I appreciate that so much.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, but one thing is, I believe in your vision. I've watched what it does. It's helped me tremendously to meet the right kind of people, the entrepreneurial spirit people in the group. They've gotten to be family. And without your vision, without your drive, without your passion for what you do, that wouldn't be possible. We'd still be limited to other networking groups. And this one's just different. This one, there's more freedom. And you said something earlier that I would like 2 seconds to elaborate on.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
And it's the thing about being free. The moment your residual income equals the bills you have in your house, what it costs you to live, you're free. You own your time back. You can do with it what you want to. You can volunteer at the church. You can do mission trips. You can do whatever if you know that money's coming in month after month. That's the reason people do rental properties and things like that. There's just a lot of maintenance and a lot of management issues with that. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to do the residual income, the passive income, where you leverage your efforts out and your knowledge and your experience to gain, over the efforts of others. J. Paul Getty, the first documented billionaire, said years and years and years ago, and it still holds true, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own.
Amen, brother.
Pass the plate and sing a closing
I
hymn.
mean, drop the mic and walk away. How come my phone didn't start playing
I
out
know.
then? It's like, okay, show's over. I mean,
I think the lights are getting dim in here. Something's going on.
it's
They are.
it's the weather outside.
It's frightful.
Right?
What do we have today? What kind of weather do we have today?
I don't know.
It was supposed to be 68, and I can tell you it is not 68 degrees outside.
Go outside and find out.
It's
It's East
cold.
Tennessee. It's going to change.
I am clearly going to have to invest in some lights for our.
No,
for
they
our
just got
video.
brighter again.
It's the sun.
I guess it is cloudy outside.
It's the sun. Yeah. Well, listen, thank you all, and I know Dr. Shayna Sparks had to sneak out there. She didn't get to say bye to everybody, but listen, this podcast show would not be possible without your help. And there's another guy that needs to be mentioned, and that's Will Morris.
Yes.
And Will Morris helped make this a possibility as well. And Will is actually redoing my roof. He's a general contractor. He's going to be the one doing my roof. I don't know if you knew that or not. But Will is a great guy. I don't have his number right off the top of my head. I don't know if you have it, Dusty, but
No.
I'd like to, we'll get Will back on the show, but Will helped make this happen as well. Will is one of the ones that helped put some of the boarding up. We're going to finish some of the boarding in here. We want to also do more with our table. I want to thank Will for building our custom built table that you see in here. And also, Will Morris's phone number is 865-386-7993. So thank you for sharing that. But if you need, one of the things Will does is like apartment complex type renovations and that kind of thing. He does that kind of work. And so, as well as management. So, if you guys haven't gotten a chance to know Will, I hope you'll get to know him. But what I'm saying is, he built us this custom table, and then Carolyn, one of Manuela's friends, put the embroidery on it for us up front here with our logo and everything.
And the
so,
holes. And
No, I did the whole.
You did the holes?
Well, she did the holes on the fabric. Todd drilled the holes. Then Todd made this really cool shelf. You guys can't see this over here, but Todd made this really cool shelf for our mixing board over here and all this sort of stuff, and really made this possible with a lot of people. So, one of the things I always say, Max, and I appreciate what you're saying, but as far as my vision for networking today, and that is true. I do have a vision for networking today, but networking today is made possible by everyone in networking today. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Networking today is it's all of us. It's not me. It's not even just us four. We hit 450 members this week at Networking Today, and that is all of Networking Today working together to help each other and support each other. Yeah, okay, some people are doing it in St. Louis, and some people are doing it in Indianapolis, and we need an ACN road trip to these other meetings, by the way. But
Yeah, there you
Just say
go.
when.
but one of the other
Have
things,
wheels will travel.
but that'd be a fun trip, wouldn't it?
You guys
Yeah.
know that Rich is going to make you ride with him, right?
No.
We're going to take the Audi.
I drive. But my point is
This could be
you know,
interesting. 3 guys that want to dominate, and we all drive fast.
Yeah.
Let's
that's
be load
hilarious.
officer. Rich was driving. He's in the back seat, sir. He's a backseat driver.
No,
Trust me.
it'll all of you.
He was pushing on the back of my seat, which the energy pushed the throttle further down.
Sure. I do drive fast, I admit that. We're going to dedicate a whole show, actually,
To driving fast?
To the ridiculous speed limit law. I can't wait till that show.
No,
I'm going
seatbelt
to-
law.
We can talk about that as well if you want to. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to dedicate a whole show to it, I promise you.
You know, Rich has a little sign on the front of his car. It pops up. It's LED. It says, "Lead follower, get the hell out of my way."
That's it, baby. That's it. And when they look up in their mirror, it's written
And,
backwards.
and when they don't, it says, "Move to the right." Move to the right. It starts blinking.
Hey,
Could
where'd
you
get
make
that?
me
I
one of
want
those? I mean, seriously. How many
Patent
people?
that.
Dude, we could sell that. I promise you,
Yep.
you could sell that.
I wanted to get a bumper sticker that I could apply to people's cars.
Yeah.
Ease up behind them.
Right.
It said nowhere to go and all day to get there.
That time it was not me.
I was
That
gonna
was
say,
me.
wait a minute. Her phone is the one that doesn't ring if she puts it on double secret, silent, whatever.
No,
Whatever.
that's my husband. He gets the breakthrough code, so he got tired of me not answering the phone, so his comes through.
Well, this has been a fun debut show, and we're going to do even more with this. We're going to be taking calls from our members from across the country. We're going to be taking calls from our leaders across the country that are growing their meetings. Some people are doing better at networking than others. Some people are generating a lot of revenue because they've mastered the art of networking. And we're going to be talking to those people. Those are some of the interviews we want to have. You will be able to, by tomorrow, Friday, April the
20th.
20th? Is that the-
420?
420?
Rich is already, Rich is already going.
420. You got it.
420.
We're not going to talk about 420, but what we are going to talk about is April the 20th. You will be able to go to the website, go to the podcast page, and sign up to be a
Did you
guest.
say podcast?
Podcast?
No, I said
420
pod.
podcast?
Pod.
We could talk about, they're trying to make it legal here in Tennessee.
Which I'm an advocate of. I'm going to go on record and say I'm an advocate of, but I do want to say that you will be able to sign up, all of you who want to be on the show and be interviewed on the show. I want you to join us.
Sorry, it just hit me.
What is it that hit you exactly?
Big giant yawn.
Big giant yawn.
There could have been flies flying in that thing.
Anyway, I want you guys, if you want to find out about networking today, we want you to find out about us. You can visit any one of our meetings. It doesn't cost you anything to visit. Come on out and check us out. We're in 9 states. We're in Green Bay. We're in Michigan and Grand Rapids. We're down into Ohio. Strong presence in Indianapolis, St. Louis area, Springfield, Missouri. Huge presence in Nashville, Tennessee, and growing. And, of course, right here
Knoxville.
in Knoxville.
K-Town.
Big old K-Town. Where this show is headquartered out of. But if you want to find out more about Networking Today, I want you to come and check us out at Networking Today International.
INTL.
It is international, but Networking Today, INTL.com is the website. And we want you to check us out. Check out a meeting near you. If you have any questions for me, my contact information is hidden. I don't want to. Don't call me. Call Todd Olson, Dusty Kuhn, or Max Sherrill if you guys have questions. No.
It's
Just
on
kidding.
the website.
My contact information is out there if you have any questions for me. And maybe, you know what, Max? It might just be that someone listening wants to start their own meeting. Do you know they can go right to our website and do that right from the website?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, baby. Just go there. When you hover over the Join Us tab up at the top, it says Start Your Own or something like that. I forget what it says. Start Your Own or join us or something. Just go to the website. It's all there.
Says start your own meeting.
Get abused and leave your own meeting.
We're going to have a fun time with this podcast. We're going to be interviewing a lot of people, and we look forward to being with you every single Thursday from 3, well, starting at 3. We don't know when we're going to end, but we will start every week at 3 o'clock.
On
Thank
time
you.
next time.
That's it. That's it.
Sometimes.
But listen, thank you guys. Max, thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on here.
So glad
I
to
want
have
to see Networking Today go totally international around
baby.
the world.
We're getting ready, man.
We have people in Asia Pacific that would love to do this. So hopefully they get to watch
What are we
this.
waiting for?
Right?
I'll go to Australia.
Right? Let's get these Asian Pacifics going. Come on, people.
Hey, Max has 5,000 customers in Australia. He's never
I know,
even
that's
been
why
there.
I said that. I'll go to Australia.
Let's make it
go.
happen. Todd, listen, thank you for being on the debut podcast show. Appreciate
love
you.
to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, man, appreciate you and all you do. Dusty Kuhn, appreciate you being on the debut show as always.
Thank you.
Were you on the debut radio show?
I was.
How about that? I forgot about that.
I kind of invited myself.
You did actually. You're like,
I
yeah,
think I
I'm
was
going to that.
too.
Yes,
you
you were
were,
too.
yeah.
It was all guys, and I'm like, dude, you need a female.
Yeah, we do need.
And I am the
course.
poster child for what networking today can do for you.
Honestly, you are.
So
And we appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show.
should be my image on the website, not that stock photo girl.
The stock photo girl. I guess we could put your.
I get
picture out there. I
residual
don't know,
income,
but-
passive residual income.
You're not pouring that right now, are you?
It's vodka.
Is that water or vodka?
You'll never tell.
Right. Well, you haven't slurred your speech that much.
Hey,
Anyway,
you know,
listen.
I'm surprised I'm still awake. I gave up Diet Coke today, so
Did you really?
I
Is,
did.
is someone ringing? What,
Somebody's buzzing.
It
What was
wasn't
that?
me.
what is that?
It's
Where
not
is
me.
that coming from? Anyway, it's Todd Olson. You know, you
Melissa
just
Hodges. Melissa just calling.
It's a Networking Today member.
don't
It's a
don't
Networking
take
Today
the call
member.
here. You
Hey,
can
Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
hold on. Listen, Melissa, we love you, but we cannot take your call in the air at this moment because we're wrapping it up. Listen,
I
everybody,
know,
thanks
I
for
had
joining us.
headphones on, I couldn't.
Do we get music to go out to this time?
Yeah, we're gonna put on some music to
Are you
go
sure
out
it's
to.
gonna work?
No, I'm not sure at all. I don't even know what we're wrapping up with, but we're gonna wrap it up here. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you joining us, and to all of you, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it so much. Not ready to take you out just yet, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and take it out. Guys, we love you. Thanks
you
for being
next
a part of
week.
Networking Today. See you next week.
Give me just a minute. Into grooving, love your body language.